All right, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry. Welcome, everyone. It's the day before Valentine's Day, so don't forget to get something for your Valentine. We will start as usual by reviewing and signing payroll and accounts payable. For the period ending 2/10/24, we had payroll in the amount of $33,473.32. We had accounts payable in the amount of $74,982.77. We also had an ACH payment to New Hampshire Retirement of $46,621.66. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
You too.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Have a
Thank
nice night. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Moved. Second.
In this week's consent agenda are the public minutes from 2/6, the non-public minutes from 2/6, which are sealed, the rec manifest, the treasurer's report, building permits, and an intent to cut, which hopefully everybody signed separately. We have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
And I'm an aye, so consent agenda passes. We will move on to public comment, opening at 6:02. As usual, anyone who wants to talk about any topic of their choosing may come up. We just ask that you come up towards this microphone over here or have a seat at the table. And please remember to give your name and your street address. Anyone interested in speaking tonight? Come on up.
It's getting boring, I'm sorry. Liz Faria, South Road. I didn't understand what you said for that last thing on the consent agenda.
It was an intent to cut for timber.
Oh, and
Yeah.
for timber, okay. I had three things. I would like to correct two things from last night, which was the public hearing on the budgets. One thing is our town is not growing, we're 47 something, we are pretty static. We've put some older people in and lost some kids, but it's in the 4,700s. Also, we don't have 13 full-time police, we only have 10. And how long are budgets sealed? The budgets you're sealing now, how long do they have to stay sealed?
Budgets?
I mean, I'm sorry, the minutes.
There was a new RSA that we talked about last year, maybe 6 months ago or something, as the new RSA came out, that all minutes will be automatically unsealed after 10 years unless there's a separate vote or process to reseal them.
Okay, thank you.
Sort of a work in progress. And just to clarify, when folks talk about the town growing, it's not necessarily numerically the number of people, it's that what has grown is the town valuation, the value of the buildings in town. That has gone up. But to your point, if you came to the housing meeting, it's a little bit, I think, personally, a slightly sad commentary on our society. There's more single people living alone and less for people, families in Brentwood. So there's the similar amount of people spread out over more housing units over time. So our valuation has gone up.
Is that because do we let the in-law apartments now or not? I can't remember.
Yeah.
We do.
We do. Yeah, I think it's just the changing demographics in Brentwood that our valuation is going up even though our population is not going up significantly. Anyone else interested in public comment? All right. Seeing none, we will close public comment at 6:04 and we will move on to our discussion action items. Karen has a couple of things for us, including a New England Dragway permit. So Karen, I will turn it over to you.
This is the race permit for the 24-25 race season, and then this is their proposed schedule. Or in the audience, if you have any questions.
And this is our standard permit that we sign every year, correct?
Correct.
Are there no changes from last year?
Has this been discussed with the chief?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, I can tell you.
No concerns or worries?
Relationship last year was great.
Awesome.
I think we, despite the rain, at least had a successful relationship season. I think they're hoping this year's better with the spring, but
Great.
it was great.
Great.
Karen checked, there's no outstanding balances of all their bills are paid.
Perfect. Anyone have other questions? Paul, any questions? I'll take a motion to have us sign this.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
And I'm an aye,
Andy abstains because he does details sometimes.
No concern.
because you
No
sometimes do
concerns.
details?
Yes.
Yeah,
I could
gotcha.
have a financial.
Gotcha.
I need a check.
And the schedule here, the schedule starts April 6th, it looks like, and goes through November 10th right now.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all set. Thank you for being here. Did you guys have any questions or concerns? Okay, great. Yeah. All right, what else do you have for us?
Anna Hurd is leaving Brentwood, and so the Energy Committee would like to appoint Matt Lipinski, who is currently an alternate, to a full member, and then they would like to post a new position for an alternate.
Any board member questions or queries about that?
Seems reasonable.
And then we would, that would be the committee would be full, and we would open up an alternate to replace Matt?
Correct, so there'd be
Okay.
2 open alternate positions, one for Kristen, who you moved up
Yep.
last month.
Okay. Hearing no objections from the board, I'll take a motion to approve Matt Lipinski moving from an alternate to a full member of E&E.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I'm an aye, so do we need to sign that appointment slip, or will it come to us later?
There's not appointment slips for the subcommittees.
Oh, because it's a subcommittee.
Yep.
Correct. Okay, perfect. All right.
That's your election warrant.
So this is our election warrant announcing to the inhabitants of the town of Brentwood that we are hereby notifying you to meet at Swayze Central School on Tuesday, the 12th of March at 7 o'clock in the forenoon. Ooh, that sounds very quite fancy. To act upon the following: 1, to choose all necessary town officers for the year ensuing, and 2, to vote on proposed changes, additions to the Brentwood zoning and land use ordinances. And so this says we are certifying that we gave notice to the inhabitants to meet at the time and place and for the purpose within mentioned by posting this. And we will have copies at the town office building by the 21st of February. I'll take a motion to sign this.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we'll sign that warrant.
This is the town meeting warrant, so that's been approved by DRA and by council. Article 11, which is the speed tables, and Article 14, which is the yes means yes votes, are both advisory articles.
Yep. So we have a total of 14 warrants, with SB 2 being Article 1, and then general municipal budget being Article 2.
And the only reason SB 2 is Article 1 is because it has to be a secret ballot,
Yep.
and it has to be open for 1 hour.
Correct. Okay. Sounds good. Any questions or concerns from the board about the warrant?
No, can I see it?
Sure. And you said fully reviewed and approved?
Yes.
No changes since we approved each one?
Correct.
Okay. And traditionally, do we do the ordering in sort of the order received?
I place the orders sort of on priority level, so that if we differ with the budget committee, the last ones voted in are the first ones that are not funded.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, on the hand count ballots, I know we didn't discuss this when it was presented, but was that looked at in terms of compliance with state law, and what state requires for elections? Do you know?
We're not the only, this has kind of been like a
County.
templatized, piece of
movement.
legislation that's been bouncing around towns. So like Greenland has had to deal with this, Stratham's had to deal with this type of a thing. I'm assuming that they probably use the same language.
I think that's a great question, though, given some of the new information that's coming out about the Secretary of State requiring one of two different ballot counting machines. Is there sort of a legal third option to be a hand-counted town? Do we know? Let's say that this passes. Is that legally enforceable with current Secretary of State rules? Do we know?
That would be a Daphne question with the Secretary of
So
State.
we'd have to figure that out. Okay.
I would just,
I think that's a great question.
yeah, I mean, I would think the state would preempt, but, no, maybe not.
Guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay.
But it's kind of like the other one where it was submitted as a petition, so it has to go.
Right.
We're better to err in the fact of putting it on, and
Yep.
then if it passes, then do a legal battle, whether it's legal or not.
And I'm pretty sure that some of the smaller towns, like Dixville Notch, does not have
A ballot
a
machine.
ballot machine.
What do they have, like 7 voters or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but I think it's like a traditional New Hampshire,
Right.
you know.
Right. Okay. Okay. Anyone interested in making a motion to approve the warrant?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. We don't have to sign this, do we?
You do.
Oh, we sign here. Yes, right where it says signature. Yes.
No flag though.
Yes, that would make sense. I'm like, I thought we had to sign it right in front of my face.
Thanks.
Oh, he put the sticker on.
That was for the benefit of the
Andy's
Senate
always so
table.
helpful. What do you do without him? All right. Anything else you have for us?
And Josh sent me the last invoice for the AV equipment that is needed. The initial budget approved was $18,346.13. We have spent $8,220.95. And this last invoice is $11,256.91, which is about $1,200 over what you have already approved. So do you want to have him scrimp and see if he can save some more, or do you want to
Did he-
approve?
Sorry, I cut you off.
He said it was an increase in cost due to the increase of copper.
Copper, yeah, I heard that last night.
Okay.
After I got done with laughing, is there a particular piece of equipment that, like, is it?
Because it's the items we already approved, it was just the interval cost went up?
Right.
Okay.
And he had some cost savings on other items that we had purchased.
So this included all the new stuff for the
For the
teams and everything? So he had already cut things out of the original order, like microphones and stuff, but they're not in this invoice, because that
Maybe
had
Jen
already
wants to
been
see
done.
this. This was what the original budget was. These are the planned expenses. And then that's the new ask.
And we had already cut back the microphones.
How many
right?
do we have coming?
We ordered 7.
And the original ask was,
9. So we had cut that back a little bit already.
And then we had cut out like the wireless controller.
thank you.
Remind me how we funded that. Was that out of impact fees?
These impact fees. So the planning board contributed 4,000, which
Right.
you encumbered, and then the remainder was impact fees.
Right, okay.
So we could absorb the additional, it's like 1132.
And if I remember correctly, when we approved that interval extra funds, it was still under the original ask that they had come to us, right?
Correct, the original
It was
ask
still a
was
cost.
about 21,000,
Right.
so even still with
So it
this
had been cut.
extra budget is still
Cut back, okay,
below that.
okay.
Was there a scrimp that he had
He didn't-
suggested?
He didn't propose anything, because when I sent this back to him with the budget, I said, hey, what do you want to do about this? It's a little over budget. And he's like, it is what it is, it's the cost of copper. So I
What's that
think
mean,
if,
the cost of copper?
I think if there was a way that he could have trimmed it, he would have.
Everything in electronics is made of copper, so
Okay.
unless you
Cables
have a
and
quote, and those quotes are only good for 30 days, electronics is going up
That's what
every
people-
day.
That's why people steal your catalytic converters, right? that
It's
for
a
the-
different metal, but same idea.
Different metal.
Like they'll steal.
No, that's
from
why they strip the houses, right, is
yeah,
the copper.
telecom.
Well, that's why they
Yeah.
stopped building houses with copper pipe,
Right.
it's all
Yeah.
PEX now.
Right, right. It's
I mean,
expensive stuff.
It is what it is, it's not.
Yeah,
He said it increased the cable costs.
the cables. I was wondering if it was the cables mostly, because there's a couple different cables that
And
are
the
in here.
iPad that was originally purchased for $450, that was returned because he doesn't need it with the new team solution. So
Oh, okay. So there was a little cost savings there.
that was a little bit, yeah.
John, your thoughts sounded like it could morph into a motion,
This is your
if you wanted
wheelhouse.
to.
I mean, it's still, half of what it would cost if we went to a vendor and was doing it
Yes.
that way, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no
The fact we
labor
have town
costs.
There's-
volunteers doing it is pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
So that's why I'm comfortable with it, I just wanna be
What-
aware of what.
Karen, what's the difference, 18?
It's like $1,200.
Yeah, I was-
Move, we take up to $1,300 out of IA. Yeah, impact fees.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we'll do that, and we'll thank those volunteers yet again. The website is amazing. I've been using it more and more and trying to tag people in Brentwood Talks when they post things and say, hey, did you know this? Did you know this was on the website? So all these same people are doing all of this hard work, and we owe them endless amounts of gratitude. All right, anything else that you have for us? Nope. Okay. That's the end of our discussion action items, so we'll move on to regular business of committee updates and any other matters to bring before the board, and we will start with Andy.
Conservation met last week. There was talk about creation of a subcommittee to help court landowners with large amounts of property into participating in the bond. Which included different ideas of maybe an open house with speakers from SELT and speakers from property owners that have already conserved their lands. So, and also training, which the Microsoft Teams room would be nice because they were talking about maybe doing a 15-20 minute presentation every meeting. And that way, instead of having an expert come in, we'll have all the AV technology that they can just remote in and give a class instead of, trying to get somebody to drive half hour, 45 minutes
Nice.
for a 20-minute presentation, so.
Nice. Specifically training for like easement management or just general
Different
conservation?
conservation items,
Okay.
easement management,
Cool.
probably quoting and whatever.
Cool.
Townwide cleanup was also talked about.
Oh, I'm so glad they're talking, that's great. Cause we kind of
Yeah, it
skipped
kind of went,
over it last year,
kind of,
basically.
I guess what happened last year is, it usually is in conjunction with field cleanup day, and the coaches wanted the fields cleaned up earlier and earlier, so it didn't I think it's Arbor Day, they try to work around, so it's, they're gonna do it whether field cleanup is early or not. So, that's all I have on, conservation.
John?
Econ Dev will be hosting our quarterly business breakfast on Wednesday, the 21st at 7:30 at the Rec. I think I got that right. And this will be a roundtable discussion, so I'd encourage all folks who are doing business in Brentwood, interested in doing business in Brentwood, to join us over at the Rec at 7:30. We'll have breakfast and coffee Wednesday the 21st.
Great. Paul, anything you have for us?
No, we didn't meet last week,
Okay.
the planning board, so all
Okay.
set.
All right. Couple quick announcements. I have, thank you to Betsy, who reminded us that Candidates Night, which is this Thursday, was moved from the library to the BRC to allow for easier parking because of the library construction that's going on. So for everybody planning to be there, it will now be at the rec rather than the library.
Do you know if they're gonna have a remote link? Cause
I
they usually have a remote
I
link.
didn't get that sense.
They specifically said they're not going to this year.
No remote link. Okay. Come in person if you want to ask your question. And just another reminder that Wednesday, March 6th, so in about 3 weeks, the week before town meeting, is the school district meeting. So come to support the Swayze budget and the warrants, including the solar warrant, if you're interested in doing so. That is Wednesday, March 6th. This is the first year, I think, in a while that it's been on a Wednesday, so just kind of pencil that on your schedule.
What
And
time?
I believe it's at
6:30?
6, let's see, I have it on my calendar. 6 o'clock is what I have on here, 6 to 8 p.m.
And the candidate's 97.
I think that's at 6 as well.
www.brentwoodnewhampshire.gov.
Yeah, right?
Great place to find out what time things are
I
happening.
actually was just, I literally was just gonna say, speaking of the calendar,
Right.
calendar.
Just click on the calendar, it'll tell you where to go.
Exactly. For anyone who hasn't looked at the town calendar on the website, it's amazing, it's so wonderful, please look at it.
Sign up for alerts.
Yes, and anyone who doesn't know about email alerts, especially with questions about like recycling and trash, you can sign up to get an email every time the calendar changes for trash or recycling, or for any other committee or board or function in the town. So if you haven't taken a look at that, you literally just click a few boxes and prove that you're a human and hit submit and you are done. So it is amazing. If you haven't taken a look at it, please do. I think those were all the announcements that I had.
I have 2 more things.
Yes, go
Uh,
ahead.
The budget hearing can be found
Yes.
on our YouTube channel. It's not under live, it's under other videos.
On the website too.
Website.
Go to the town meeting budgets and reports section.
And there's a link, as well as the
The PowerPoint slides,
PowerPoint that
okay.
was presented,
Yep.
because it's not that easy to see on the screen. And I want to just shout out to Andy and Kip, the decking looks amazing over
It sure
at
does.
the rec.
Here, second.
Awesome. And just a second, the budget hearing, I want to give a shout out to BudCom. It went really great last night. I thought the AV presentation was super clear and really, really helpful for the public to understand our budget process. So I appreciate that and appreciate the chair, Jack Mitchell, who I thought led a very good budget hearing. So thank you as always for that. Anybody else have anything?
Take one more question.
Sure, why not? It's only 6:23.
On the remote for candidates night, is there a reason why?
I
had two-
Probably because it got moved to the rec.
that's
and there's
the
no-
reason.
Yeah, I don't know, sorry. Do you have anything else for us? And no non-public tonight?
No, because I need to meet with Glenn before I present you with more
Okay,
information.
perfect, okay. If there's nothing else on anybody's mind, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we'll adjourn at 6:23.
Boom.
Woo-hoo!
Well done.
Happy Valentine's Day to us.
If you,
Good night.
Good night.
is planning board meeting on Thursday?
It got canceled according to the calendar.
Yeah, it's canceled, economic development's canceled because of,
Okay, the candidates night.
So, if tomorrow you wanna take the camera down, I'll bring the camera over for candidates night, since it won't be.
Okay,
If we're not using it for anything, yeah, we could, right?
okay.